Thank you very much, Paul, and thanks to Reed Corporate for putting on another fantastic event. Great to see so many people here for the last session of the day. Hopefully you had your coffee, you're not here just for the drinks. I'm going to update you on DevEx, and I've got 15 minutes or so to convince you about why we believe we're well and truly positioned for growth. As the demand for clean energy continues, we believe that with our portfolio of assets, existing uranium assets, our growth strategy and our funding position, we're very well placed to be able to take advantage of the resurging uranium market. Our important disclaimer for your information to read at your leisure. So who is DevEx? So DevEx is one of only a few ASX-listed pure uranium exploration companies on the ASX. We have a strong alignment to the resurgence of the uranium sector. DevEx has been exploring for uranium over the last 10 years, had a pause after Fukushima, and is back with a vengeance in the last 3 years, exploring up around the Northern Territory, which I'll get into in a second. We're focused on delivering strong returns to our investors. We're a team committed. I've recently joined the company only 2 months ago. We're focused on acquiring, exploring and developing projects in the uranium space. As Paul mentioned, our board is led by Tim Goyder, the chairman. He's also a major shareholder, 17% of the company. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Tim. He knows what it takes, and that's really about making sure companies are appropriately funded, and we put money in the ground and we take action. I've been brought on to take that action and get things moving with us. So we've got a real plan, and I'm going to take you through that now. Myself, former banker, 25 years in resource finance, was leading the metals and mining team for Western Australia for BNP Paribas for 10 years. So I've been in the game for 25 years, also run listed junior exploration companies. Brendan Bradley, he's our technical director. He's been exploring up in the Northern Territory for over 7 years for uranium, but has deep, over 25 years geological experience as well, with a great team behind him. Stacey's been our commercial manager and was previously on the board, invaluable resource for the team. So overall, we have 11.2 million cash in the bank, so we're well funded. We've got 441 million shares on issue. We've also got investment in Lachlan Star, around 30% of Lachlan Star, which is worth today around 7 mil, and then investment in a private company called Entex, which was a spin-out from DevEx as well. Both Lachlan Star and Entex were spin-outs from DevEx. So what do we already have in our portfolio? Well, our portfolio is really built on clean energy. So we have our flagship projects in the Northern Territory, and I'll get into those in a bit more detail, but the Narbarlek project up near Jabiluka and Ranger in the Northern Territory, and then the Murphy West project to the southern end of the MacArthur Basin. We also have a portfolio of nickel-copper PGE projects, as well as a rare earth project called Kennedy over in Queensland. The Kennedy project itself is a great example of the technical capabilities within our team, who identified, drilled out and discovered this project and put a resource on it around 18 months. So why are we so bullish on the uranium market? Well, as you probably heard this morning, if you were listening to Grady's presentation, the outlook for uranium is very strong at the moment, and you can see on this chart on the left-hand side here that the World Nuclear Association is forecasting incredibly strong growth for the outlook for or demand for uranium, driven a lot by the clean energy transition well and truly underway. Below that, you can see the bars that represent existing mines and restarts of old mines. There's a huge gap coming, overall around 200% of a gap to increase by 2040. That's expected to lead to obviously higher uranium prices going forward. But it's not just driven by clean energy and the need for clean energy, it's really been driven by increased demand for power globally, which is driven by data centres and AI, the AI revolution. Overall, we have 415 nuclear reactors globally. At COP28 last year, we had 22 companies pledge to triple their output of nuclear power. On the data center side, last year we had, in the last 12 months, $58 billion US invested in data centers, and that's just beginning. Overall, we're expecting that with the AI revolution, we're expecting around 10% of global energy consumption to come from the nuclear power, from AI sector. If you look at a Google search, a Google search compared to, for example, a ChatGPT search, a ChatGPT search uses about 10 times the amount of energy than a Google search does, and that's only just beginning. It's growing exponentially. So you've got some of the major tech companies already investing massively in securing clean energy through nuclear power, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Oracle, to name a few, looking at restarts of nuclear power generation, or also what's called SMRs, or small modular reactors. It's putting a lot of money on that. And so what's our exploration strategy? Well, we're focused on finding very large, high-grade uranium deposits. What's called unconventional style uranium deposit, unconformity style uranium deposits, I should say, and they're only found really in two places of the world. So the Athabasca Basin in Canada and the McArthur Basin in Northern Territory. In the Athabasca Basin, it's very much dominated by the majors, very difficult to get and land access. There's been some major discoveries there, Cigar Lake, for example. These unconformity style deposits typically are structurally hosted, so you'll see the grades accumulating around the contact between the sandstone and the basement rocks, but where the projects get bigger and bigger is when they're hosted in a structure and continue to depth. That's what we're looking for in the McArthur Basin. So if you look at this side here on the left, it's showing you those two figures at the same scale. DevEx has 14,500 square kilometres across a belt scale area of the Northern Territory in the McArthur Basin. Just our Murphy West area to the south alone is already significantly in size compared to the Athabasca Basin. So just zooming in a little bit on the Narbarlek project. Narbarlek is in the Alligator Rivers uranium province in the McArthur Basin. It is surrounded by deposits that have been discovered or mined, obviously the Jabiluka or the Ranger uranium deposits, but it's also, Narbarlek was an existing mine, so back in the late 80s, 28 million pounds was mined at a grade of 1.84%. So one of the highest grade, was the highest grade uranium mine in Australia. It was mined in 4 months and processed for the remaining 8 years. The project itself sits to the northeast of the town of Jabiru, outside of the national park. The Narbarlek mine is still an existing mining lease, and we've been exploring around the shadow of the head frame around the Narbarlek mine, but also to the north at an area called U40, which I'll get onto. So what we've been focused on, these uranium-bearing fault zones. So as I mentioned, structure is key. The red outline here on the centre of the page is the existing mining lease. And we were initially drilling to the north of that, and then, as I mentioned, the U40 fault zone to the northeast. The U40 area was drilled in a joint venture with Cameco and DevEx before Fukushima, and then everything was parked up. So when they drilled that, they were getting grades of up to 7.6% uranium. So incredible grades that now we've been following up this year. We're looking at the continuations of that deposit at depth and looking to try and find that structure that's hosting the large grades. Getting on to the south as we move down the McArthur Basin, so obviously the Alligator Rivers province to the north, it then goes undercover, deep undercover in the middle of the basin, then pops out back again towards the Queensland border. That's where the Murphy West project is. Murphy West, overall we've got 10,000 square kilometres across 3 earning agreements. And to the east of us is Laramide's Westmoreland deposit, so 51 million pounds that was discovered by them several years ago. We have a very large package which we're now undertaking systematic exploration activity across the Murphy West project. We flew a radiometric survey across that area a couple of months ago, and a radiometric and magnetic survey which we're now using to to follow up on some of these trends. What we're looking for, again, is the radiometric anomalies, where they correspond with the magnetic fault zones that we've detected. We've uncovered, I'll just get onto that slide, a number of really interesting magnetic anomalies radiometric anomalies that we're going to go back and follow up on. The team are out there at the moment, and we're just undertaking a systematic exploration approach across that whole land package. The Kennedy Rare Earths project, as I mentioned, significant discovery. It's 150 million tonnes, 1,000 ppm trio, so it's a very good ionic clay, a true ionic clay rare earths project. Heavy rare earths, it's shallow, it's close to existing infrastructure, easy dig. The met test work was very compelling, demonstrates that easy recovery. That project itself, we're looking to continue to advance that, and sits very firmly within our portfolio. The ESG focus of DevEx is an incredibly strong story for us. It's important to continue to have the social licence to operate. We've been rehabilitating the Narbarlek mine since we acquired it. We've got a good reputation with the traditional owners up in the NT, continue to work with them very closely, and we employ a lot of the families as well. Very important for us to be able to continue to have that social licence to operate. So why DevEx? Well, as I said from the beginning, we're here to deliver value to shareholders. We're looking at tapping into this resurging uranium market. We're very much focused on growing the business. We have an extensive land package of uranium exploration opportunities, but we're not going to just stop there. So we're going to be looking to expand the company through the drill bit, but also through potential acquisitions, and we're really focused on delivering shareholder value. Thank you.